So yes, now here is Ram. Ram, can you hear my voice?
Yes, perfectly clear.
Perfectly clear. Fine. I can also hear you. Um, जैसे कि अपने दर्शकों को मैं बता रही थी कि आप सभी ने हिंदी फिल्म तो देखी ही होगी। तो हिंदी फिल्म की एक खास बात जो होती है वो ये है कि उसमें इत्तेफाक बहुत होते हैं। इत्तेफाक कैसा इत्तेफाक? हीरो हीरोइन से मिलते हैं तो एक इत्तेफाक से होता है, उनसे बिछड़ते हैं तो भी एक इत्तेफाक होता है, और यही नहीं, उनके माँ बाप उससे वो पकड़े जाते हैं, वो भी एक इत्तेफाक से ही होता है। वैसे तो साइंस के स्टूडेंट होने के नाते मैं इत्तेफाक में कुछ खास बिलीव नहीं करती, लेकिन राम से मेरी मुलाकात एक इत्तेफाक ही थी। 2 साल पहले जब मैं जर्मनी गई थी, तब मैंने राम से मैं मिली थी जर्मनी में। तब मुझे कहाँ पता था कि आज राम हमारे बीच होंगे और हमारे शो का एक हिस्सा होंगे। So, Ram, I have been telling them story about how we met in Germany and how I managed to keep your number
Mhm.
intact, which I messaged you last night.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, a great experience. And Ram, on air, I want to mention, और मैं आप सभी दर्शकों को बताना चाहती हूँ कि राम ने मेरा मेकअप किया था जर्मनी में, और 2 दिन तक मैंने अपना चेहरा धोया नहीं था. I didn't wash my face for 2 days.
Yeah, I can
Uh,
understand a little bit of Hindi, but I can't speak.
No, no, that's fine. But I would, in between talk to
Yeah.
the viewers in Hindi. Yeah. So ये था कि राम ने मेरा जो मेकअप किया, मैंने 2 दिन तक मेकअप नहीं धोया. और I mentioned to Ram at that point in time that I even didn't look that beautiful during my wedding as much as when Ram did the makeup on my face. So Ram, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, I'm so blessed to have you on our show. Welcome to Exploring the Gold Mine.
It is my absolute pleasure. I was feeling so humbled when you approached me, and I was like, oh, "What is happening right now?" And then you actually told me that you met me in Europe, and I was like, "Wow, this is someone has put in a lot of effort, and also remembering me." Just for me, I'm just like someone who walks by in a store,
Yeah.
and then you remembered me so well. That was very, very humbling and very beautiful, and I felt very appreciated. Thank you, and thank you for welcoming me on your show. I feel very, very honored.
Thank you, Ram. So, Ram, we would start, with our viewers knowing a little more about you. As in, I would like them to know, where did who are you, where did you grow up, and all of those stuff. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in Germany. Um, my parents fled Sri Lanka when they were younger, about 30 years ago. Now I'm 25 and I live and work in Germany. And I was born in Hesha, in the most deepest parts of the mountains and everything. Yeah, so I spent my childhood here and, traveled a bit. Then I went to school and I kind of got into makeup by seeing TV and movies and a lot of music videos where I was very impressed by the work that makeup was able to do. And I played with a lot of makeup, and that's how I got into makeup. And then I also got into acting, which brought me into um, doing more work uh, while mixing both of the stuff. And then I decided to study drama and media science in order to kind of link these things together. I didn't really know that I was able to do that, but once I kind of got into the work, I remembered that I was able to do that.
Okay. Ram, actually, your voice is little breaking. I don't understand the reason, but it seems to be slightly breaking.
Oh, there
Uh,
must be like something
can you
with
hear
the.
me clear?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay, so now I'm alone here.
Okay. So, Ram, you studied drama and media studies at Johannesburg Gutenberg University, Mainz, and right now you're working in marketing for a German skincare brand.
Mhm.
So, what is this drama and media studies? That is what we would like to know.
It sounds very crazy once one hears it, but it's actually very dry. So what you do is you look for movies, you look for theater performances or anything like that, or even text pieces, and study them for about, or analyze them in terms of their dramaticality. So what you do is you see how is a certain kind of character portrayed in this piece. How is the camera working with the angles, and what does it do for the viewer, and why did the director use that kind of technique to work in, or
Okay.
even makeup artists work with that kind of technique. Yeah, that's what you do.
Okay. So you started doing makeup when you were 11 years old.
Mhm.
Was it like that? You
Yeah.
started doing, yeah?
Yes.
It's crazy. I mean, what did you understand about makeup at age of 11? I don't even understand makeup now, And so, and how did you develop? I mean, like, tell us a little bit about this journey. I mean,
It's, I don't know, I just always had this sense for aesthetics. I was always
okay.
very keen on what I would wear and how I would want a place where I would look like, where I would live to look like, and everything. And
Hmm.
then I kind of learned that, at a very young age, which is kind of cruel, but that it's not. Um, Something that you're born with to be seen as beautiful, because I saw that beauty, is a culture, and culture develops. And what is interesting is that today we find something very beautiful that was not considered beautiful 10 years ago. And that's
Absolutely.
what I understood. And I thought, okay, so when I do fit into this certain mold, and or I can make myself fit into that mold, or make someone fit into that mold, I can make them beautiful, or I can make them be perceived as beautiful. So I understood the difference between being born beautiful and being seen as beautiful very quickly. And I always grew up with my father being an engineer, manipulating little things, the video recorder or the TV. So I thought I can manipulate the aesthetic of a human being.
Hmm.
It's possible, and that's how I got into it, because I thought I shouldn't be worrying that I'm not perceived as beautiful. I can just make myself beautiful. So it's not, it's a very dishonest
Hmm.
job, some way. Yeah, that realization me do makeup.
So, so, there is something people develop over time, or, an ambition in life, or, whatever they would like to be in life. And some are born with it, some are really born with it. So,
Hmm.
what do you think? Were you born with this kind of, talent? Or, it was just a thought and you developed this talent over time? Or in other words, to be precise, do you think a person would be born with such a talent or can develop it over time?
I think it's one is rather socialized with talents. So
Hmm.
it depends on what you see on TV. It depends on what your family gives you as input, what your
Hmm.
friends do, and everything. So it had a lot to do with the culture I was growing up in, and the people I saw, that I was so interested in beauty. um, and that's what made me who I am, I think. It was
Hmm.
also had to do a lot with self-identity, where me as a marginalized person in a very white country, I'm not
Hmm.
considered completely beautiful. I'm not considered
Hmm.
as 100%, like I'm not equally attractive to anyone as like a white person would be. So I had to work around these things, and that's what socialized me the way I am. And then I wanted to figure out my way of success and my way of also making myself look beautiful. And I really sat down and analyzed, okay, what traits does make one person beautiful? What is considered here as clean? What is considered as approachable, attractive, and what, so I kind of worked my way into that, where I came into makeup. So I thought, okay, makeup is a huge part, and costume is a huge part that makes us look
Hmm.
a certain way, and it's also how we carry ourselves. I
Yeah.
later on in my studies, I read like Irving Goffman, who says that we're all playing theater and it's all just a matter of performance. And then when I was sitting in that seminar while I was at uni, I was realizing, oh, I thought that myself when I was like 10 years old.
Okay, yeah. So that's amazing. And you have been a freelance journalist.
Mhm.
So we understand a journalist in terms of a news journalist. We understand a journalist in terms of a film critic or a film journalist. But what is this freelance journalism that you do in terms of makeup or in terms of the field that you are associated with?
It's actually just regular journalism, but you're not linked to one specific company or broadcaster or magazine.
Hmm,
Um,
hmm,
I decide who I want to work for, and it's sometimes it's a pleasure, sometimes it's just you don't get any money. Um,
hmm.
so what I do is I see and look for pop culture references and try to find codes. For example, why does this person in this movie look like this, and what does it tell us? And I don't know, there might be a very like example. Let's take a Bollywood movie or an Indian movie, for example, and then there's always this certain kind of heroine who is very domestic and she wears a sari all the time. She doesn't wear too much makeup. She's very flattering looking, and then I analyze these traits on makeup and costume, which is very like dry work, and then I bring it into our cultural perspectives and see how our social constructs work with it. I see who produced the movie for which audience and who is portraying this woman this kind of way, and why are they doing that, and why is it working so well, and then I write about it, and then I just maybe sell it to
Okay,
magazines or just publish it myself.
okay. So yeah, so now I understand what you are into. Um, you just talked about, like about marginalized communities, uh,
Hmm.
and and how that impacted your life. So when we talk about marginalized communities, we and you have also been very, very vocal, and you have been instrumental in talking about the transgender community, and saying that kind of it was little surprising to me that we what do I how do I frame it, that we got some makeup tips or from this community, which subsequently we monitorized them. So tell us a little bit about this. How do you think, what do you think about this?
So I think a capitalist society like in that what we're living in is building up on the most marginalized. If those people weren't, we wouldn't be here.
Okay.
I am very privileged in my opinion, but I'm not as privileged as someone who's
Okay.
white, for example. So what I am speaking of
Okay.
is that, for example, certain makeup techniques that are used by transgender people to keep them alive on the street, actually, we use as a beauty practice. So, for example, what I mean by that is in the 70s, 80s, 90s in New York, in America, there was this called ballroom culture where drag performances, whereas male performers would dress as female people in to speak in these very gendered words, but there was no gender in these spaces. You could be man, woman, female, male, whatever you prefer. So in these communities, there was a lot of black people, and these black people invented, or they didn't invent, but they used a lot of very classic makeup practices that we know of from very, very far behind in theater, like, for example, using red lipstick to cover the beard shadow. It's a so-called 5 o'clock shadow. And so they use that to be presented as more female. And what happened is that once we as a general society saw that, we use it to cover our under eye circles or around the mouth. But these people also had to use it. So, they didn't have a lot of chances in a public society to be, a bank accountant or something. They had to do like jobs as in sex workers or work in nail salons or something. So what they had to do is they had to be very female looking in order to be safe around a certain space so that they wouldn't be caught by the police as a transgender sex worker or someone. Were you able to hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so they use these practices in order to, like applying red lipstick under their like above their beard, so that they don't get seen as a man, for example, to save their lives. And we are doing it as a beauty practice, and then they use red lipstick for that, and we invent concealers which are red, and then sell them as concealers to cover dark circles. But these people who actually kind of use it on a regular basis, they can't afford our concealers. They are still using cheap lipsticks, so that's kind of like a social construct that is very impartial towards these marginalized people who actually need the credit for what we're doing. Also, like contouring is something that came up with the drag culture a lot. They changed the face shapes with just color, so one looks more female or male or whatever in whatever terms, and we are using that. Kim Kardashian is selling something, just a little bit of makeup, and then she's talking like she invented it, and we party Kim Kardashian like she is the queen of contouring, but she never was. There's actually so many other contouring queens that we should be thankful for, or that Kim Kardashian should be thankful for, but she's making $1 million business out of it. $1 billion.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, in fact, we never even thought of looking at makeup from this angle, Ram, Probably many of my viewers would be also thinking the same way. So, I want to ask you something. When you talked about red lipstick, and when you also talked about, a woman who looks like more domestic. So, in our society, we are associated with, someone who puts on a lot of makeup, or someone who wears a red lipstick, is viewed as more bold, or more extrovert, or more powerful. And a woman who wears a less makeup, or who use very subtle colors, is viewed more as domestic, or maybe less powerful. So why is this perception? How did we develop this perception? And this is this is the makeup is makeup done to give this kind of perception, or this is the perception that we developed on our own?
So the thing is that a certain perception of someone does only work in a certain culture. Some when I would
Okay.
wear a red, when not me, but if someone
Yeah.
who's seen as female would wear a red lipstick in India, it might
Hmm.
not seem as very bold, because a lot of Indian women like to wear red lipstick because it's very
Yeah.
normal over there, you know. But if someone would do that in Germany, for example, a red lipstick on a daily basis, it would be considered as very bold and very makeupy. And so
Okay.
there is
Okay.
this difference between cultures. So we can say from that part that a culture is something um, that develops these perceptions. So it does only work because this culture thinks that it's bold. So therefore, we that's what I said about being manipulative, and that makeup is a dishonest thing, in
Hmm.
terms of not because you're faking something, but you're manipulating
Hmm.
someone into thinking that you might be very bold. I can be a very shy person, but I can wear, all the fake lashes and red lipstick, and
Yeah.
people would think I'm a very bold person. And this perception, where it came from, is very interesting. I might be, people might leave the live chat because I say this, but it's very, we have to see in what kind of society we're living in. We're living in a society, or we're living in structures that are actually made by men for men, and
Yeah.
they need something to hold up their power. And what happens is, if a woman actually, we perceive women who wear red lipstick as bold, um, is that it's already something wrong, because there's already something wrong because she just applies a color to her skin. There is nothing else to it. But she knows where to apply it, and she knows how to make something that she thinks is beautiful on herself. She puts it out on the window. She shows it to other people. And what does that?
Yeah.
That is very, frightening to a lot of people in power, or to a lot of, to our culture, because we think, oh, she knows about her beauty. She knows how to wear a red lipstick. She wears a red lipstick because she wants the attention. What is wrong with someone wanting attention? It's wrong that
Absolutely.
she's aware of her powers, or she might be aware that someone else has power over her, or the society in general undermines people, um, who are not considered as powerful. So there we have this huge problem, that this patriarchy is telling women to not wear red lipstick because
Yes.
it's not homely. Because once you wear red
Hmm.
lipstick, you're saying, I am aware of my personality. I am aware that I can be bold, you know?
Yeah. So how important you think is makeup in our day-to-day life for anybody, any general person?
Come again, please? I'm sorry, I didn't. It skipped the sound.
How important? Yeah, yeah. How important you think is makeup in our day-to-day life for anybody? I mean, a common person. I'm not talking about a celebrity or a model, but for a common person or a common person like me, like how important you think makeup is?
Not at all. Not at all important. It's what you decide, Me as a makeup artist, like, people, when they meet me, um, and when they also see my articles and my studies, they're very much like, oh my God, you're going to analyze me and my makeup and all that. And I'm like, no. Would you, like, talk to a doctor privately and then think they will analyze your healthy eating habits? No, you wouldn't think that, or a car mechanic is not going to judge you for how much you are working in your car, and if your car is already, like,
Yeah,
wasted or
yeah,
something. So I don't really care, and I think that people should only care if they want to. You know, you should only use makeup when you want to feel, when you have it, when you want to reach a certain feeling or a certain perception. And I think
mm,
being addicted to makeup or something is, you do that. I people always judge me for buying um a lot of makeup products, but I'm like, yes, but I buy a lot of makeup products and I use them, but other people's go on holiday, so they spend their money
mm,
there. So if you're doing it out of a passion, it's something else.
yeah,
But you don't have to. I always feel very sad when people do it for reasons of insecurity, because I don't feel bad for
yeah,
them. I don't think that they do have the cause, but it's the cause of the society. The society is doing, bringing up these insecurities in people, and I think we should be more bold about that. Yeah. So that's my opinion, that we already do not need makeup at all.
Okay, so we'll come to doing makeup a little later because all our guests would like to know a little bit from you, but we'll come to that a little later. Before that, there's one important question that came to my mind just now, Ram. That see,
Mhm.
if I look at about a decade or even about a couple of decades back,
Mhm.
have you watched? First of all, I want to ask you a question. Have you watched Indian movies, Bollywood movies?
I did, yes, I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
you did. So I then my question is valid. Now I can ask you this question. So couple of decades back, or maybe about a decade back, the Indian actresses, they looked a certain way. They had a certain identity. In the
Mhm.
sense they had a one particular actress would have a particular hairstyle and a particular makeup style. Okay, and you know, for example, to make it more clear to the viewers, especially. See, we had a Sadhana, we had an Asa Parekh, we had a Hema Malini, we had a Rekha, for example. For example, Sadhana, she had a particular Sadhana cut hairstyle, so people used to identify, oh, this is Sadhana cut. Or, this is, kind of makeup which Rekha wears. Okay, she looks a certain way. Now, but today, when I see this trend in Bollywood, I see this trend has completely changed. uh, I would sound very silly to you, Ram, but I feel each and every actress looks same for me. Everybody looks similar. Everybody having similar hairstyle. I don't know. Somehow I feel their facial features also, you know, somehow looks more similar. So then my question are two here. Is this, should I give credit of this similar facial features or similar kind of looks of all Bollywood actresses today to makeup, or that barrier of doing different makeups for different people that has faded and it has all come into one kind of particular makeup style? What is it, Ram? So it's so difficult to understand for us.
Yeah, so if you talk about Vijayamala and Rekha and all these, different
Absolutely.
decades of heroines,
Yeah. Yeah.
to me, I sort them out into decades because for me, Vijayamala is not the same as Rekha, for example. And
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
women
True.
who acted the same with Vijayamala, they look the same for me, you know,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
because we grew up maybe in different cultures and how we perceive culture is different. So
Hmm.
for me, I know that, for example, in the 90s, Karishma Kapoor looked different than
Yeah.
Kareena Kapoor and what their difference is. And, that Aishwarya Rai looked a certain way and, all that. But I see what you mean is that
Hmm.
the problem. Oh, thank you for these lovely comments, by the way. Uh, and the thing
Yeah.
is
A
that
viewer has commented. Yeah. Hmm.
I think the more interesting thing is that star culture. In media science, we have this thing called star culture, and it means that you develop a person and then an aura around them. So if you say Rika always wears this certain kind of makeup, it's part of the way they marketed Rika because she always wear this very dark eyeliner and very white inside eyeliner and always, also
Hmm.
in the terms of her acting, she would always look from the chin down and up so that her eyes look very big and everything else would kind of fade away. She rarely ever looks straight, like with the chin up into the camera, and you can see
Okay.
the songs and all that. So we are made to perceive people in a very certain way. So we feel like they are icons and they are iconic. And in today's cinema culture, there is so many people and the industry has grown enormously, and it's very
Yes.
hard to say that this actress has this style or this
Yeah.
actor even has this style because they can't
Hmm.
do that forever because our
Hmm.
industry is changing so quickly and trends are able to be perceived more quickly. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have all these kind of things, and you have to keep up to the changes. So if you do not look a bit more postmodern than all the other people, you
Yes.
won't get any movies, you won't get any money. So in order to stay in the cinema business, you have to look a bit like all the other ones, but better. And what also comes to it that is in these days, Bollywood also tries to have us like not even just Bollywood, but completely Indian movies in general are trying to have a very certain um, aesthetic in terms of their movie qualities and how they look, and they want to they they do even compete with Hollywood movies you know, but they
Absolutely.
want to
Absolutely.
complete in this aesthetic of, you know, being very colorful but also perceivable by Western audiences. So you have to fill in this mode of showing yourself that you're able, you know, this woman who's walking around in Mumbai in with her heels and her short pants or whatever and this hairstyle and all that, she's also able to work around like that in LA, you know. So that's what
Absolutely.
changes the perception, and that's why we feel like they all look the same, but they also have to. So otherwise, we wouldn't watch the movie.
Yes. See, when I because makeup is mostly associated with models on Indian movies, so I would like to ask one more question in similar line. That say, for example, if I take an Indian movie, so a woman plays different characters, and
Hmm.
as per the characters, like beautiful, bold, power woman, or sexually abused, or vulnerable, seductive, whatever. So. Here I think costumes play a major role, and also the artist's emotion. How much role do you think makeup plays in portraying a certain kind of women?
I think it's kind of there is no really like something where you can say this 70 to 30%, and you know
Yeah,
there's no
okay.
ratio I can give you. But I think
Yeah,
it all works together, and it has to work together because it is working already, and we see that, you know, when we look at movies that these you know, a very villagey person who is, you know, very domestic, she wears like little to no makeup and has a very certain costume like a sari or something. And then we see someone in the city, you know, and she's more self-assured and she's more bold, and she wears like Western clothing. So we have this thing with
yeah,
the coloniality of feminism, that we think the whiter you behave, the whiter you dress, the whiter you do your makeup, the more feminist you are and the more bold you are. So we bring this colonial aspect to feminism. So we reserve female empowerment only to westernized societies and not for us. And what we also do is that um, we like we kind of model a domestic person that we'd like. We portray the good heroine always as wearing saris instead of wearing you know, or wearing westernized clothes, you know. So we always think then, okay, someone is wearing westernized clothes, bad. Someone is wearing sari, good. You go this side. And this is how cinema and makeup works, you know. Um, and I think for this makeup and costume to work, it has to work in culture. And so because media and theater and culture, it's always like a something that works with and never without, because you only can take something that's already in the culture and portray it in movies so that it works. You know, we see that, oh, okay, she's like the girl next door in my apartment, so she must be good. She looks like the girl in my college who always wears like high heels and hot pants, she must be bad, you know. That, so there is like, you know, makeup only does copy social constructs in my eyes. It's also an,
absolutely.
you know, absolutely, it's an art form, but the art lays in the culture, and art is always political. So makeup is also very political in that terms.
Okay. Now, a Bollywood heroine looks like a certain way.
Mm.
You'll say that Vandana is not coming out of Bollywood. So we will come out of Bollywood soon, but a little bit
Mhm.
more about this. So she looks beautiful, she looks glamorous, elegant, attractive, all of those adjectives which I could use for her. And on the other hand, if I look at a female villain, okay, she looks glamorous, but she also looks glamorous, but I think she's portrayed as sometimes overly glamorous, or she also looks attractive, but that attractiveness we can sense a shade of gray in that attractiveness, if not black. Okay, so have these parameters been developed, or how does this work on the minds of the people or the minds of the audience?
Um, these are things that we as a culture developed, and as I said, cinema
Yeah.
and silver screen are using that.
Hmm.
For example,
Hmm.
if you see these serials that are on TV in the afternoon,
Hmm.
um, all these women who are playing the villains, they have very extravagant hairstyles and extravagant makeup and contact lenses
Absolutely.
and
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to tell you. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
And there's this one heroine. She always wears this very simple sari, little to no makeup, and then her hair is always covered and very slightly done, you know. And so is her character. She's very slight. She doesn't have much contour in her character. She's always playing good to the bad game and all that, you know. She never sees that
Yeah.
anyone is being mean to her. You know, you go and slap her face and she takes it. And the other one, she will slap you back, but she's also wearing red lipstick and contact lenses and eyelashes and everything. So it works because we as a society think that women who empower themselves and who say what they want and
Right.
who kind of know their power in society and want to gain more power in society, which is absolutely lovely. They should do look a certain way. They wear makeup and they're also more westernized. You know, if you see the characters, the villain character is always a bit more westernized. She uses more
Absolutely.
English. She always carries around a phone. You know, she is speaking on WhatsApp, and the heroine, she goes in and washes the laptop with a sponge and water. You know, so she's very dumb, and this one is educated. So we have these extremes that we put next to each other. And it's, for example,
Right.
like we have this in a very ancient Indian literature or Hinduistic literature as well, you know, and we did that with women who dance. Dancing is at
Right.
some point considered as bad and not
Hmm.
domestic,
Hmm.
you know. And we
Right.
have, I
Right.
think it's, I don't want to say something wrong. Please excuse me if I say so, but please correct me.
Yeah.
I think it was Shakuntala who went and broke a priest's or someone's meditation because she was dancing and she. I don't think it was Shakuntala, but some, you know, we
No,
know these
it
stories.
was Menaka.
Menaka,
Ram, it
yeah.
was Menaka.
Yes, it
And
was
she
Menaka.
danced and broke the meditation of Maharishi Vishwamitra.
Right. So she did that with dancing, just dancing, and because of her beauty.
Yeah.
And then these
Yeah.
ideas do not come from nothing. You know, we had there's no smoke without fire. So we think um, that, you know, for example,
Right.
Draupadi, for example, she's always dressed in red
Hmm.
when we see theater performances. She's always very modest. Her hair is always tied, and that's because we want her to be a domestic icon, you know. So that's how this works, and we see the same
Hmm.
character, and you know that's what happens with item dancers in Indian movies. We have this item girl who comes up with a
Hmm.
lot of makeup, a lot of elaborate um, costume, very revealing costumes,
Right.
because she knows about her attractiveness, and she uses her attractiveness, and that's considered bad, you know.
Hmm. Hmm. Ram, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm
Yes.
done.
Can you hear me, Ram? Okay.
Hello, I can.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, Ram. Yes. What you said was very, very clear that, how makeup is being used to portray different characters. But of course, in modern days, I mean, I think these rules are breaking, and people are, a domestic woman doesn't has decided not to look a certain way as being portrayed and what was being portrayed earlier. And people, these rules are changing. Rules of the game are changing slightly. Uh, to go ahead, do you think the makeup techniques that is used in India are any different from those used in the westernized countries? Is there some basic difference between the two, or is it more or less same?
Mm,
I
I'm,
can also
I'm
tell you, I can also tell you to clarify what I want to say is that the makeup technique used in Hollywood versus Bollywood, or also we can go ahead and say like Tollywood versus Bollywood. So is it different? Is it like universal practices, or how is it?
I think that Indian cinema, like a more the blockbuster Indian cinema, um, is not wanting to stray away a bit from beauty, which
Yes,
the broadcast Hollywood cinema wants to do.
right.
We have a a very certain sense of attractiveness, and we want the people in the film to look like it. We would not accept if they wouldn't be looking very attractive, you know. So in Hollywood, though, I see that there is place for ugliness. There is place that shows if someone doesn't look very glamorous, but it also has to do with the movies we do. Our movies are very happy, and the movies, and the Indian movies are very. A lot of movies are very happy. They portray a very, um, some kind of a fantasy, in which Hollywood movies do sometimes not do that. We also in India we do have movies that are not, portraying some kind of a fantasy, but still we do have that notion of someone, we have to look up to them, so they have to look very pretty. And I think
Yes,
there is
yes,
room to go away from pretty still. That's what, also what I see as in countries, as in, the makeup in like Europe differs a lot from India or America as well. Is that people in Germany, for example, do not like to wear that much makeup because we're still so caught up in the idea that wearing a lot of makeup is too much. It is considered as you're too bold, you know. And it's very hard for the cosmetic industry in Germany to actually be very successful, like, for example, in America, because people are very okay with wearing a lot of makeup.
yeah. And to add, I would like to say that even in India, recently the trends have changed, and Indian women like to wear a lot of makeup.
Mm,
And no wonder why German brands are doing so well in India, because a lot of women are very fond of German skincare brands, especially,
mm,
and also makeup brands.
mm,
So, I think in India, makeup is really catching up, and women
mm,
are really into big time makeup, vis-a-vis
mm.
what it was maybe, 10 years back, or maybe about even 5 years back. Ram, have you ever been to India and worked with Bollywood or the Indian modeling industry?
No, but I worked with Indian models and Indian people and Sri Lankan Tamil people in Germany, but never in India.
Okay, so you have been watching, a lot about Indian movies, and you know a lot about Indian serials. Have you been watching these, or how do you know about them so much?
As a Tamil household, we also watch a lot of Indian, like Kollywood movies that are
Hmm,
produced in Chennai, Kodambakam, and all that. So
yeah.
I also had Hindi in uni. So in order to try to keep up with my Hindi, I watch a lot of Hindi movies. Yeah, लेकिन मेरी
Okay.
हिंदी बहुत खराब है.
No, it's good. It's good. It's not bad. So, see, quickly, I will take a very short rapid fire with you, okay? And
हाँ,
then we'll come back to the question sessions again. So, quickly, I will take a rapid fire. So, you have to, give me the first answer that comes to your mind, okay? So, best makeup work you have done till date.
That was on myself when I was playing in theater. I did a very elaborate makeup on myself and very colorful. Yeah, because I didn't want anyone else to do my makeup because I thought they were bad, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself. And then I did my makeup for 14 days straight, every night.
Okay, and so what character were you playing?
We were playing Snow White, and I was playing this
Okay,
villain who was
okay,
in the in a like I played the mirror in Snow White, and the mirror had a
okay.
very important character.
Oh, very nice. I mean, and what age was that? Was it was at a very young age or something?
I think I was 18, 19, 17. I'm not sure. It was some
Okay,
years
yo,
back.
so yeah, you were like a teenager, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So your best research work, you have been into a lot of research. So what would be your best research work?
I wrote a very elaborate paper about comedy and feminism and how it affects how Black women are portrayed in mainstream culture, and I think that is something I'm very proud of.
Okay. Your dream work, a kind of work that you would like to do.
I think I would like to have my own personality show, like Coffee with Karan or something like that.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So you have watched Coffee with Karan also.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I like to.
Okay.
I
Best
kept
make,
up with it. Yeah.
yeah, lovely. So best makeup advice.
Start with less product and work your way through, and just apply more product wherever you need.
Okay. Uh, one makeup product a woman must have in her bag.
Mm, lipstick. It's very versatile. You
Okay.
can use it on
One
your cheeks.
makeup tip.
It's yeah. So
Okay. So one makeup tip for males.
always use sunscreen. Nobody wants to be married to a leather sofa.
Okay. Uh, Bollywood or Hollywood?
Mm, neither.
Neither.
Hmm.
Then Tollywood or Collywood? Neither again.
Neither. Yeah. I'd
Okay.
like to stay in the very safe environment of universities with my students.
Okay. Your dream destination. I mean, your travel destination. You would like to travel to a certain place, and
Mm, Bali.
which place did you say?
Bali. We're
Bali.
already
Oh,
doing
that's
coffee with Vandana, aren't we? Like, we should call the
so
show that.
that's what he has been written. Yeah. So, uh, one must read for aspiring artists. You know, I mean, a book, which
Um,
can really help them.
read any book, but also read especially for the descriptions of people, and then try to match your makeup work to the. You can read whatever book you want, any novel, but try to match up your makeup to the one character you read about. And also, there's a book called Making Faces by Kevin Aquan, which I would always recommend.
Okay, that's lovely. One must watch for aspiring artists, a particular kind of character, a particular movie, or whatever.
YouTube. Always watch a lot of YouTube. You can learn a lot on YouTube. You can learn what's
Hmm.
wrong. You can learn what's not good. You can learn what's good.
Your best loved makeup, I mean, uh, a character rather, which you may not have done, but in general. Oh, this is lovely work, and I wish I would have done something like that, that kind
Mhm.
of.
I really like makeup work, any makeup work from Hung Van Gogh. He is a Vietnamese makeup artist in America. I think he
Yeah.
migrated to Canada. And I really like his work because he's also like from a marginalized community and has this background of fleeing and all that. So I'm really fond of his work and really admire it a lot.
All right. So best makeup artist you look up to is like what you just said, probably, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah,
Okay,
Harmonic. Yeah.
yeah. So if you were not a makeup artist, what would you be?
Mm, camera person, maybe. I'd be, yeah, I'd wanted to be a
Okay,
photographer for a long time.
okay. Uh, so last question on the rapid fire. What is your biggest, okay, no, couple of more questions. So what is your strength as a makeup artist?
Um, I can work very calmly in a very, very stressful environment. I also did like people's makeup in the car. Yeah. I was in very hard pain and I did their makeup. I do never let anyone
Okay.
know that I am tensed.
Oh, lovely. So I don't have that quality, as I was just telling you before the show. So I'm kind of very stressful person. Gets keeps getting stressed. So what's your not so strong area in makeup? What do you think you need a lot of improvement on?
I don't know. Um, I don't have an answer to that question. I think I would like to do more hair and learn to do more hair rather than makeup because I think I want to be able to do both. Can you hear me?
Okay. So what is that you want to? Can you hear me, Ram? Ram, can you hear me?
I can only hear you. I can't see you, but it's
Oh, I
also
think
very
Ram
blocked.
is unable to hear. Uh, voice is little disturbed. I can't hear you, Ram. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello? Yeah, you're back now.
It's getting a little difficult to hear you. Let me just see. Remove the screen and take you back.
Hello?
Yes, Ram, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes. Hi,
Right.
Ram, you're back. I don't know, there was a problem, and so thank God we are back. So, that was the last question in my rapid fire, so I couldn't hear you properly. I please want you to repeat again that what is it that you want to achieve as a makeup artist and as a research worker?
I think I want to more do more profound work, which is more seen in public society, where I try to do these things that I do in a very academic sphere, where I talk in very fuzzy words about, you know, the pop culture and makeup in very scientific terms. I want to do that in a more basic level for more people to understand, and not make it such a academic sport.
Okay. So, given a chance, would you like to come to India and work for the Indian Bollywood industry?
No,
Okay.
no. I
Everybody
always,
wants to do that.
yes, I always wanted friendship with, you know, I admire Daniel Bauer for his makeup artistry. And I always wanted to, you know, I also wrote him when I was younger on Instagram. I asked him if he thought of maybe taking me as an intern, and I didn't know what I thought of that, but he was like, "Oh no, not right now, but maybe someday." But then my career path changed, and I think I want to do something else, and I'm able to do more. And I always love changing faces, and I like to always keep doing that, but it's not my top priority right now.
Okay, so with that, we come to the end of rapid fire. So we'll come back to the question session again because otherwise we will run short of time. Uh,
Sure.
so, the most important question of mine of today's session, which most women are waiting for on the show, is that Ram, tell us a little bit about basic makeup. So, as in, like how you did my makeup. So, what are the basic things we should be doing and keeping in mind when we do a makeup and how we should start and how we should go ahead? Please tell us a little bit about this.
So yeah, there are some basic guidelines that like there is no rules to makeup, but I think what we as a culture should always explore is that we have to do makeup for our faces, and you know, if I do makeup on myself, I have to be aware that I'm not gonna look like Kim Kardashian or Kareena Kapoor at the end, because I don't have Kareena Kapoor's cheekbones, and it's not gonna work. I don't have her eye color, and so makeup can only do that much. That's what we have to realize. And makeup is also a lot of homework. So the way you
Okay.
treated your skin the night before is gonna make the makeup look a certain way. So if you didn't care about the skin the night before, your makeup is gonna look that way. You know,
So, what
so
kind of how do I treat my skin the night before?
you should always cleanse very well, and during the day, you should always wear sunscreen, mostly like up to from 30 to 50, and reapply your sunscreen. Even under your makeup, you should be wearing sunscreen all the time. And
Reapply my makeup at what interval, Ram? Sorry, I would be interrupting you because these questions are basic questions in our mind. Maybe, as
no,
a
no, no,
makeup artist, you might think it very simple, but we don't understand that.
it's fine. I am not a fan of reapplying makeup. I like makeup to live through the skin, and I think that's beautiful because I like this glowy look, you know, and I feel like when makeup lived through the skin at some point, it doesn't look like a lot of makeup anymore, and I think it's very beautiful. But that's up to
Yeah.
everyone, you know, whatever they like. Um,
No, my question is, Ram, like, how often do I apply sunscreen in a
mm.
day?
So if you're not wearing makeup, you should always
Yeah.
be reapplying your sunscreen whenever you touched your face somewhere, or I don't know, you cried because something was so beautiful. You know, whenever you feel like the sunscreen could be getting off, you should always reapply it, no question.
So you really think it's very, very important.
Yes, because there is nothing more damaging to the skin than the sun. So you should always consider the sun as your biggest enemy and always work against it.
So even for males, the tip is same. Males
Yes.
should also be applying sunscreen or no?
Should be applying sunscreen, because it's just not a matter of beauty, it's also a matter of health, because you are so much more potent for skin cancer and eczema and
Okay.
rosacea and all these kind of things when you do not wear sunscreen.
Okay.
Not
So
also about,
that was about sunscreen, and then we come to makeup.
yeah, sure. So once you see that, I always tend to use less product when someone doesn't have really good skin, because product will build up. You're putting something on your skin. Oh, thank you. We'll say something about my future
Yeah,
project.
we'll talk about Ram's future projects. So just let us finish with this, and then yeah,
Yeah. So when you feel like your skin is not good at this point,
yeah,
do not
yeah.
try to use more product because of that. Because what it will do is it will build up. Because you have to think of makeup as something you put on the skin, and if you use less layers and very less and thin layers, then you wouldn't see it that much as if you would apply more and more and more. It's just same thing with cement. And what I also like to do is see if you need powder, because someone gives us this certain grammar for applying makeup. When you say you first apply your primer, then you apply your foundation, then your concealer, and
Yes, yes,
then you powder on top of it. But
yes.
who said you need to powder on top of it? I personally hate powder. I come to hate powder right now because I'm like it gives a lot of artificial texture to the skin. I feel like instead of powdering, you could just use like a thin tissue paper and just take off the oil and then
Okay, okay,
see what happens, because if you powder, you're putting extra texture on the skin, and it's just going to be a bit longer than only your foundation, that is not going to get you oily.
okay. So basically, if I need to apply makeup, I should first moisturize my skin, then maybe apply a sunscreen, then a primer, and a foundation. And after that, yeah, sometimes when I have applied powder, the skin also gets very flaky. It shows up basically.
Mm,
That is, of course, another reason because, we are not professional at it.
mm,
But till foundation, it still remains okay.
mm. So
Uh, yeah,
the thing is, some people do not have to wear primers, and some do. And it's also a matter of wanting to wear primers or not wanting to wear primers. So that's always up to you. I'm a fan of, when I do makeup for a very short period of time, I do not like to wear a primer because it just is heavier on the skin and the skin texture doesn't come through. So when I'm sure that someone has to wear this makeup for a longer period of time, for example, for a wedding or something, it must be about, you wear your makeup for 18 to 19 hours, then I'm pretty sure that I make sure that I use a primer which is very, very grippy and keeps the makeup in place for a longer time.
okay. So primer is not a must for applying a foundation, is it?
It depends on the skin texture, because if you did your
Okay, again.
skincare
Okay.
right, your homework, which is your skincare right,
Mm,
you won't need to
mm,
apply that much foundation, because the
mm,
skin is
mm.
not sucking in all the foundation. But
Okay.
once
Okay.
you use a primer, there's kind of like a shield which keeps the skin from sucking in all that foundation. But if you apply a lot of
Okay.
skincare and your skin is very nourished, the makeup goes on top and it glides on top. It just stays where it has to be and doesn't, get soaked into the skin.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's one problem with my skin because it soaks the makeup in, very
Mm-hmm.
quickly. So I understand if your makeup is getting soaked quickly, then you need a primer. Or if it
Yes,
doesn't, then
better skin,
probably
or
primer. Yeah.
rather better skincare. So, cleanse your skin very thoroughly. Use cleansing mask. Use like salicylic acid, AHA, retinol, and all that, which help your skin to regenerate itself. Um, and then it's also a lot. I always say homework because it's a lot of practice. You have to go slowly because for some skincare ingredients to work, it takes about 6 weeks or 6 months even. So you have to be very persistent and consistent when you do that, and then you will see that your makeup starts to look better.
And obviously, your skin also gets better, isn't it?
Yes, obviously, obviously.
Yeah. So that's like basic. And what about a blush? What do you suggest about a blush? A powder blush or a cream blush? What are you fond of?
Both, then it has to last very long, and you can also use your lipstick. That's like a huge, because lipstick is also a bit more long lasting than powder.
Hmm. So we can also use a lipstick, like a blusher, is what you're saying.
hmm Just apply to
Okay.
the back of your hand, warm it up, and then use
Hmm.
your ring finger to apply it very, very slightly. And make sure you're not allergic, because some things that we can apply on your lips we are not very used to on our cheeks, so that we can be allergic. Just try it out.
Okay. So one another important question is what is the role of concealer? How important it is, and whether a person, a layman like us, can we experiment with a concealer?
You can. I always tell people to use two shades of concealer. So one is two shades lighter than your skin, and one is a bit darker than your skin. It's not for contouring, but when you have like a pimple or something, you apply this darker shade, and darker shades and matte shades do usually cover up very well, and lighter shades make things bigger. So when you apply a lighter shade on a pimple, it will stand out more. But if you um, use a darker shade, it will flatten way better.
Okay, so and concealers could be used for your under eyes,
Yeah.
who have under eyes. Okay. Okay, so that is also where concealers are important,
Mhm.
and after finishing your makeup, you have used your foundation, you've used your blusher, you've used some kind of eye makeup. Then is there something which we need to use so that the makeup stays on, or just leave it like that? Some kind of mist or face mist or something, or we can just
Yeah, you can use face mist. There are different kinds of face mist, and I mean, every other brand is coming up with a face mist. But
yeah.
what makes your makeup last long is good skincare. So Mm, you have to do the work to make your makeup last longer during the makeup, and um, days before you do your makeup. So, as I said, the skincare the night before is very, very relevant to how your makeup looks the next day. Um, what you do is, for example, that I tell brides, when I know that they're not very fond of skincare, I tell them, you know what, I need 4 hours for your makeup. And then I just put on mask after mask on their skin, and I'm doing that, I'm doing their hair, just to make sure that their skin is very, very good, so that I do not need to reapply the makeup or use a lot more product than I need to, and the skin doesn't eat up the product. So that's what makes makeup last longer, rather than these face mists and all that. Face mists do help, I'm pretty sure, but also skincare is very, very important.
Okay, so when you're talking so much about skincare, and you're saying that skincare is of utmost important, is what I understand, and that is, of course, a healthy looking skin will give a better glow to the makeup. So, what is an ideal, skincare regime, at night skincare regime that one should follow?
Cleanse, and then you can use a toner or something, whatever you prefer, and then you should use a treatment, for example, a retinoid or and you can always use hyaluronic acid. Then you can use a niacinamide or a salicylic acid, whatever you prefer. And then you should use a night cream or an oil, or a night cream and an oil, whatever you prefer. And then you should go to sleep with it. But you were speaking of models and actresses and all them, and they have this amazing skin. They also have irregularities on your skin. They also have a lot of impurities in the skin, but they do spend a lot of money on their skin rather than on their makeup sometimes, because they have all these
Okay.
people who care about their skin, and they go to the cosmetologist and get their treatment done. They go to the doctors regularly. They always wear their sunscreen. You will never see them out in the sun without sunscreen or an umbrella or something. And that is what keeps their skin so healthy. Drink a lot of water. We have this thing called free radicals, and in the
Yeah.
air there is pollution, and the sun is a very important part that supports free radicals, and also the food that we take in is very supportive of free radicals when we use a lot of oils and all that. So we have to be eating very healthy to have good skin. So these parts play in together, and also if you have mental health problems or stress, it also shows up on your skin. In Tamil we
Hmm.
say "Ahattin alaku muhattil teriyum," which means that the beauty of your heart will be visible on your face. Um,
Hmm.
so I always keep that in mind when I'm doing people's makeup, because I tell them, you should relax, and try to take life as it comes, and be a bit more relaxed what in that terms, and it will show up on your skin. Whatever your products apply and you're not having a very shantam in your life, then you won't see that.
Since you're here, Ram, I want to ask one personal question to you. That what should one use for open pores and skin getting loose? So, if you could just give us one solution for that.
What do you mean by skin getting loose?
Yeah, skin is, started to sag, kind of,
Mhm.
little loosened, it's not tight. Skin is not
Yeah.
tight. So,
So for open
solution for
pores,
these two things. Yeah.
open pores is like, it's a very wrong term we're using in general culture. So we can't, pores are always open, and if they won't be open, we would be dead. Because our skin needs the pores to be open, but they might be clogged, or they might
Yeah.
be too wide, and we can make them look less big, and that's what you do with, for example, AHAs and salicylic acid. You have to
Okay.
clean your pores regularly, because all the free radicals and all the makeup products and all the sunscreen we're applying, it sticks onto the skin and it might stay there. So what we have to do is that we make sure that we get it out regularly, and you can do that with your
Hmm.
cosmetologist as well as at home. That's for huge pores, maybe. I do also suffer from that, but I see that when I'm drinking a lot of water and using my vitamin C on my skin and all that, then I have less
So,
bigger
usage of
pores.
vitamin C is also very important for big pores.
Yeah, for me, but it depends on where your big pores come
Again, yeah, we
from.
could try. Yeah.
Yeah, you could try. So vitamin C serums, and always what makes big huge pores and so like little irregularities on the skin is fragrances. Try to stay away from face products that have fragrances in them. Always try to use fragrance-free
Okay.
products, because we don't
Hmm.
need our foundation or our sunscreen to smell like rose flowers. Because why? We know that it's something
Yes.
chemical we're putting on, and it's just for the mind. Our skin doesn't need it, and it's just unnecessary harm to the skin. So just stay
Hmm.
away from it. I never use anything that has perfume in it. It's very important for me.
Okay.
And that was
And
also
the
happened for,
next question for, yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
skin
Sorry,
saggy
did I
thing. That
interrupt you, Ram?
No, it's fine, it's fine. um the
Yeah.
thing about the skin being saggy is that it comes with age, and
Yeah.
we have to kind of accept it. But if we have the feeling that it's too early for skin to get saggy, it might be because
Yes.
the collagen and the hyaluronic acid is not produced as much as it is should be in the skin. So what we can do for that is we can apply a hyaluronic acid onto the skin on damp skin, and it helps to plump up the skin a little bit, as much as it could. Can only go that way. Also
Okay.
applying retinol will help build up the collagen and the ceramides in the skin. That will also plump
Okay.
up the skin. But otherwise, if that's not working, if you really want your skin to be less saggy, I should uh, be transferring to you to a skincare doctor, a skincare, or maybe to an esthetician or a plastic surgeon.
Okay. So Ram, with this, we'll come to the last question, which a viewer wanted to know. That tell us something about your future project.
You can follow me on Instagram. My name is R triple
Right.
ANAND, and you will see my future projects and whatever I do. And I'm pursuing my PhD in sooner time when I'm getting done with my master's degree in media science or drama science. I'm not sure where I'm going to do it in, but it's going to be very interesting. So you can keep up with that and maybe read one or another article that I write. I would be very glad about it and very happy to see everyone again.
So, also want to tell the viewers that you will get the Insta handle details of Ram on our description box. So you can check out the description box where you will get his Insta handle, and you can log in and you can see what Ram is doing and about his future projects and about the research that he's doing. Ah, thank you, Ram. Thank you for being with us. And it was really a wonderful time, and we really learned a lot. And we're going to apply what you have told us, the makeup tips in our day to day life. Thank you so much for being on the show, obliging me. I'm so grateful to you.
It was very, very pleasant to be in the show, and I'm very thankful for everyone who was listening and watching. And I'm so thankful for your beautiful questions. It was very amazing. It made my morning so special today. You see, it's just like 9:30 or something in Germany. No, it's 10 almost. So yeah,
10. Yeah.
it's very, very beautiful. Thank you so much for gracing my morning today and thinking of me. It was, I think I'm gonna uh, feel very, very honored for a very, very long time to be approached by you. Thank you so much. Do you still have the
Thank you
little
so
thingy
much,
with my
Ram. And
phone
namaskar.
number? Namaskar. बहुत माफ कीजिए that I didn't speak Hindi, but I will try to do that when I might join you next time.
Thank you so much, Ram. Thank
See
you
you,
for being
everyone.
on the
Have a
show.
nice afternoon. Thank you.